Hello and welcome to another Kangaroo English Daily Digest podcast. My name is Christian and today is Thursday. Best day of the week. Today I'm going to be talking about various different things, including bread and how language is literally a tool for communication. But I actually want to start by telling you a joke. And I'm going to try and start with the joke and tell this kind of big epic story about humanity. So let's see. So there's an Englishman and an Irishman, and they go into a bakery. And unfortunately, both the Englishman and the Irishman, they're very poor. They don't have any money. So the Englishman says, listen, I'm going to steal 3 loaves of bread. And the Irishman says, okay. So when the baker's not looking, when the baker is busy baking, the Englishman, he puts 1 loaf under his shirt at the front, and he puts a loaf down in his left-hand pocket, and he puts another loaf down in his right-hand pocket of his trousers. And then he says to the Irishman, come on, let's go. I've got the bread. And the Irishman says, no, wait a minute. I'll show you a way that we can get 3 loaves of bread without any trickery, without having any type of deception. We're just going to do it in an honest way. So he goes up to the baker and he says, hello, I'd like to show you a magic trick. Will you give me 3 of those loaves of bread? And the baker says, okay. I'd like to see a magic trick. So he gives the Irishman 3 loaves of bread, and the Irishman stands there and he eats the first one. He picks up the second one, and he eats it all up. And then the third one, and all the bread's gone, and he just stands there. And then the baker looks at him and says, hey, what the hell? Where's the magic trick? And the Irishman says, okay, now look in the pockets of the Englishman. That old English-Irish rivalry that at least now it's this rivalry only appears in bad jokes like the one I just told you. But the reason I told you this joke actually is because I want to talk about bread a little bit, and I want to talk about loaves of bread. So bread is actually an uncountable word. You cannot say I have 1 bread, 2 breads, 3 breads. It's uncountable, so we need to find a way to break bread into units. And so bread, normally we sell in loaves. It's L-O-A-F. There's different types of loaf. You have like a tiger loaf or a standard kind of soft top kind of loaf. There's all different types of loaves of bread. And the interesting thing about this word is how it has replaced the original word for bread. You see, loaf and bread are actually the same word. And if you speak another European language, you probably have a word similar to the original Old English word for bread, which was hlaf. H-L-A-F. Hlaf. And so, yeah, if you're Polish or Russian or you'll have a word that's probably very similar to that, hlaf. And you can see how hlaf became loaf. And what's really interesting is you can find hlaf hidden in some really important modern words like Lord. That's right. Lord of the Rings is actually bread of the rings. Well, not exactly, but the word Lord is an abbreviation of the word hlaf ward. Hlafward, which literally means the ward or the guardian or the protector of the bread. Now, remember that bread is used as a metaphor. It's a metaphor for valuable things. Like even now, the person in a household who earns the most money is called the breadwinner, because bread becomes a metaphor for money. And, bread can also be a metaphor for just good things in general. And so in the house, in traditional society, the man was the protector of the bread. He was the Hlafward. And you can hear how Hlafward over time could be abbreviated into Lord. And also, Hlaf, bread, is where we get the word lady. It's the same thing. It's an abbreviation from bread. So next time you're watching the film Lord of the Rings, really you know that it's a film about the bread protector of the rings. Now, no matter where you go in the world, in almost every country on the planet, there is some type of bread. Like it could be a flat bread. It could be a big, long, oval-shaped bread. It could be the opposite. It could be sort of big and puffy and glossy and sweet. And bread is one of the kind of basic pieces of sustenance that we need as humans. Humans can survive on bread and water and some basic shelter, and that's it. One of the human necessities. And apart from just surviving, it seems that humans have this need also to express themselves. We're not content to just sit in a cave and eat bread and drink water and that's it. No, we want to express ourselves. We want to explore. The reason for the success of humans is because of our natural curiosity. And so apart from bread and water and shelter, another thing we need is a way to express ourselves. And the way we express ourselves is through language. Because without language, you wouldn't have a form to express yourself. Now, language takes various forms, but it started with very simple scratchings somewhere on a cave wall. But to make those scratchings, we need to learn to manipulate tools. And I have this really incredible study here, which was published in Frontiers of Psychology, called Language as a Tool. Motor proficiency using a tool predicts individual linguistic abilities. And so what they did was they had volunteers, adult volunteers, and they sat them down in front of a pegboard. Now, a pegboard is basically, it's like a square piece of wood full of little holes. And what you have to do is you have to take these little wooden pegs, these little wooden cylinders, and insert them into the holes. So you insert the peg into the pegboard. And so these adults, they had 3 levels of difficulty of pegboards. The first pegboard was like a big kind of children's pegboard. And the second one was a bit smaller, so the pegs were a little bit smaller, and the holes were a bit smaller, so it was more difficult. And the third level of difficulty was with very tiny pegs. And when you inserted the pegs in the hole, you also had to rotate them. So it was an extra level of difficulty. It required more motor skills. And you didn't insert the pegs with your bare hands. You had to use tweezers or pincers. You had to use a tool to do it. And here's the crazy thing. They discovered that there is a direct and significant correlation between an individual's ability to use a tool and their ability to construct a complicated sentence. So the people who were faster at using the tool to insert those pegs and rotate those pegs were also faster and better at creating more complicated sentences and doing the other linguistic tests that were assigned to them. And so, when I say that language is a tool, it's literally a tool, and the same parts of our brain that allow us to manipulate things allow us to manipulate words and make sentences. And I think that this really shows how deeply human language is. Language is just a part of being alive. It's just a part of being human and part of the human experience. Language is just as much a part of that as bread and water and shelter. And to have the gift of language is something really special. And if you can have that gift in more than one language, well, that's just an extra gift, isn't it? And it's a bit like, having the ability to manipulate various tools, more opportunities to create, to express yourself, and more opportunities to practice something which is something that's been inside us since we were living in caves and scratching stuff into walls. So if you need some motivation on this cold and grey Thursday, then I hope that that's it. To think about the gift you have right now in front of you of being able to learn another language instead of out in the savannah hunting wildebeest with a spear or whatever it is that your ancestors were doing. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Digest podcast. If you enjoy this podcast and you would like to support it, you can become my patron at patreon.com. You'll find the link to that and links to my YouTube channel and Instagram and Facebook group and much more on my website at kangarooenglish.com. Thanks for listening. I'm Christian, this is Kangaroo English, and I'll see you in class.